Okay, everyone, we're now going to go over to our next run, which is going to be Casper's Scare School, any percent by Viper. Viper is a regular at InstaSpeedathon. He normally does racing games, but this time around, he hasn't got any racing games. He's got Casper's Scare School instead. So it's a little bit different, but it's going to be quite exciting anyway, because I don't think we've ever had this at InstaSpeedathon before, so it's going to be quite interesting to see. But don't forget, of course, we're adding this as a charity event, and that is for Everyone Can. If you would like to donate, type !donate in the chat. That'll bring up the Tiltify page where you can donate to the fundraiser, and all the proceeds of Tiltify go directly to EveryoneCan as well. Now we do have a donation incentive as well. I think it's for the next run, the Beanie Run. So for the Beanie Run, there's an add all stages Tory incentive. Now that's currently raised £15, and it needs £50 to be met, so we're only £35 away from seeing that. So if you'd like to see it, make sure to put your donations in for it as well, and we'll be able to see that when the run takes place. But anyway, Viper, it's over to you now, so tell us about your run. Give me a countdown for when you want to start the timer, and we shall begin.
No worries, thanks very much. Okay, so first and foremost, hello, I'm ViperUK, also known as Viper. Welcome to Casper's Scare School for the PlayStation 2. Just a real quick, this run is quite short. It's 6 levels altogether. 4 of them are races, believe it or not, and the first 2 are like a collectathon, which is the first one. The second one involves picking 6 kids up, including Casper, and then the ones after that are races. There's not too much to it. There's no like special speed tech or anything. It's like a certain route we take, but again, I've been very generous with the estimate, with it being 20 minutes. You can run this game on console or emulator, but obviously I'm going to be running on emulator today. But you can run it on either. We have split the categories up split the console emulator thing up for the game. But this was made by a company called Blast Entertainment. These guys made a variety of games, a lot of which I think are pretty bad, but anyway. So they made a variety of Casper games. They made a few Bob the Builder games. Babe, Beverly Hills Cop that released in 2006. We also had the Lassie game. There was a Little Britain video game, which was also made by these. Mr. Bean's video games. There was a Postman Pat game for the DS. Paddington Bear for the PS2. Top Gun for the PS2. The list isn't that long, but it was like from what I gathered, it was in 4 years they made, I think it was like 25 games, if that. A lot of which were heavily criticised for not being too great. So yeah, we're gonna crack on with it. So the 80% really is essentially the 100%. There's only 6 levels and that's it. There is a multiplayer mode where you can race against someone, but that's it. There's not really too much to it in terms of extra content. Personally speaking, I still don't know what the story of this game actually is, other than Casper needs to go to Scare School, so we're going to play it as Casper. I will just say as well that the handling, the controls for the characters is a bit jank. But yeah, enough with all that. I'll show you the game itself. That's what we're all here for. So if we're ready on time, I'll give you a countdown. In 3, 2, 1, go. So, first level. As Casper, we need to collect 30 items. Now, the thing is collecting these 30 items isn't too difficult. It's literally scattered around the mansion. And there's a certain order that we play in. A certain way of collecting them all. Now, I'll be honest, this first level isn't too difficult. But for the most part, you obviously want to make sure you remember where all the parts are. And the thing is, there's 30 parts. So, for example, there's a room there that I always forget even exists. So some of the stuff that you end up picking up is, like, you can see we're picking up like pots and clothes and things like that. We're even picking up like underwear and stuff as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through these rooms here, and we're actually going to make sure we don't get stuck too much. The other thing as well is that the one thing you'll notice is that Casper loves to get stuck. Like, he really loves to get stuck on stuff in the room. So don't be surprised if you end up seeing me, like, just get stuck for, like, a split second or anything like that. That's what I'll say. Also, he might clip through things, but this is fine. We're all good. So as you can see, he's picking up, like, pictures and things like that. The idea apparently is that he's, as you might have seen at the start, he's got his suitcase together. And it's like, oh, okay. So Casper has his suitcase, but unfortunately the bags burst everywhere, or the suitcase is opened by itself. And basically what's happened is we need to now collect these items. For some reason, some items hitboxes are, again, as I said, they're a bit jank. There's actually someone who's participating in this marathon. I don't know if they participated already so far, this event. Someone by the name of Garlips. Garlips has actually done a run of this game, and has actually got the emulator top emulator time with like a 12.5-minute run, I believe. So fair to say, he knows what he's doing.
Garlips has already taken part in the marathon. He took part yesterday, and I think he also mentioned about the Casper Scare School as well during his run yesterday. So yeah, he has already taken part, and I'm pretty sure he mentioned about Casper Scare School. He was doing a Thunderbuzz 80% run yesterday.
Yeah. It's one of these games. So I'll just mention something as well. There's a lot of loading screens in there, so apologies if like 50% of this run is loading screen. So I'll try and fill in the boring bits when I can. Also, we're gonna go pick up Casper and his friends. Now I will say, because this is on emulation, we do have a slight problem with the game as a whole, but it's fine. Just bear with me. You can tell that the music's like not meant for all this. It's quite funny, to be honest. But don't worry, it won't last too long, I promise. Also, this has to be the weirdest boat ever. For some reason, it just really loves to go fast for no reason. There we go. There we go. All done. Okay, so as I was saying, that's like pretty quick. Blink and you'll miss it. So how I got into this game last year. I think it was in July, ESA was running in Sweden. And I met someone there called Tainted Tally, who's also got really good time on the leaderboards. And me and her got talking about video games and things like that. Anyway, turns out that one of the main games that she likes to run was this. And she got into ESA and everything. And I had a chat to her about a few things, and long story short, what we basically both talked about was this game. And she went, have you ever played it before? I was like, no, I've never played it. And I was like, oh. She was like, yeah, have you ever played this before? I was like, no, I've never played it in my life. She's like, oh, do you want to have a look? I was like, yeah, sure, okay. Like, don't know what it's like, but yeah, okay, cool. So I ended up playing this game and everything, and quite enjoyed it, to be honest. It was very short and very simple. Like, as I was saying, it's not too much involved, but yeah, we had a right blast, like, playing it through just casually. And again, Tally was speedrunning it, and she's like, oh yeah, basically my co-commentator, who couldn't make it due to, I think it was to health reasons or something, basically turned around and was like, oh yeah, you know, said, do you want to do like comms and things? I was like, yeah, sure, okay, cool. And yeah, so I was starting commentary for this for like that run. I think it was like 10-15 minutes, and I was like, you know what, I played it through as well, because I said, how hard's this game? And she's like, it's not that difficult. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, honestly, it's not that hard. I was like, right, okay then. And then, yeah, so she showed me this game, this race, and she's like, see, it really isn't difficult. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't quite believe her at first, but yeah. Also, the music is interesting, how it changes from... It changes from one thing to the other. It's quite funny, to be honest. Also, we won! Yay! But yeah, like this game, even as a beginner, personally speaking, so that 20-minute estimate is actually accurate for what it takes to beat the game casually. The only difference being, obviously, the speed tech just kind of comes as it comes, really. Also, that's one race done. We now do another race here. Now, this is heavily relies on how you control Casper. So, for example, like, he loves to get stuck on things, as I said. But it's not just us that loves to get stuck, it's also the characters. The other thing is, as well, as you can see, some of the characters are like, oh, no, I can't get through here. It's like, oh, well, we can, haha. Also, this takes you outside as well. The one thing you can do here is do this. So you can actually take a shortcut there, which is quite neat. Also, if I'm not mistaken, I can do this. Oh yeah, this is another thing I've not mentioned yet, in case it's not obvious. We can damage abuse in this game. So you can see that, like, Casper gets hurt and everything like that. Like he does get hurt, but fortunately for us, it's fine, because he's a ghost anyway. So he gets the... basically, yeah, as I said, you get damage boosts, so that's pretty neat. The other thing is, as well, is that, speaking of controls that are a bit jank as well, is that if you stop or you get caught on something, you stop dead. Like, there's no... Like, I'm not going to beat around the bush, you generally just get stuck, and that's it. These walls are... They're not RNG, they're not too bad. Don't want to do that. I believe I don't want to do that. Oh, nice. Also, you can actually jump across this gap here. There you are. So, yeah, there's not, like, too much to it. So you actually do 4 races altogether. This is literally, like, most of it. It's, in my opinion, this is not on the same level as Sonic R, but it's probably not far off. I think if you like something like Sonic R, you might actually enjoy this, weirdly enough. And not just because, oh, it's character racing, but also because of the fact that the controls are a bit janky and things like that. And it's a fun little game. It doesn't take a lot to pick up and learn, in my opinion. And I generally, love to see more people run this. Because, as I said, it's very simplistic in its design. Like, you can tell that this game was made for kids. Not just because, oh, it's Casper, but, like, just in general, how easy the game actually is. I mean, as I said, it might make... I might be making this look easy, but genuinely, bear in mind that I haven't played it as much as you might have thought. Like, to get my my PBs on console emulator, I think I only did like 3 or 4 runs, and that was it. This game can be easily beaten in under 15 minutes. Emulator obviously can beat it in 15, but it is another thing as well. So the best emulator time is slower than the best console time. But if that emulator time was done... if that console time was done on emulator, it'd be quicker. So this is like the main race that we apparently can lose at, because for some reason the characters will love to stick behind you. Also, there's weird invisible hitboxes as well on these corners, so you do have to be careful. And the same with the hurdles. But for the most part, this is probably the one race that will actually like trip you up a little bit. Luckily, it's not that bad, to be fair. And I'm pretty sure the record actually has like a speed boost off the characters behind. That's how he's able to beat this, I think, beat this race a bit faster. Like, you can actually get shoved a lot faster. Not that much faster, but a little bit faster at the start, pretty much. Like, the thing is, as well, is the AI is completely random, so, yeah. So, coming up to the end of this race, there we go. So, that's the 5th race done, which means we've got 1 more to go. So timing's actually going to be coming up when we cross the line on this last race. It's about, I think about 2 minutes or so, but there's one thing that I need to do in this race. So we have a race against, I forget what it's called now. I'll have to wait till it loads in. But we have a race against someone. What kind of Count Dracula's son? I don't know. I mean, in the world of ghosts and zombies and stuff, it seems adequate. I forget what the guy's called, but yeah, basically we have to race against him. Thatch he's called, there we go. So he always gets a head start here, and we've got 4 kids here, as you can see. So the main thing is that you can see that there are cars in the way, and that we can actually get hurt. Also, we have to make sure we get ahead of him as well, which we can easily do there. Here we are. Nice and easy. So I love how the emulator slows down and speeds up again. Oh god, hello. So what we have to do here is these kids have to run with you. So, like I said, there's 4 kids altogether. Also, them coin things you pick up are essentially health. So yeah, we have to beat Thatch, and we have to get these 4 kids along the way. Luckily, the 4 kids aren't too bad for the most part, as you'll see in a minute. So, like, for example, there's one here on the corner, which, there she goes. And we just run all the way down here. Now, this is the other thing as well, is that he's running the entire time, but he gets a head start. You can cut him off earlier on. You'll see in a minute as well, there's a 3rd kid just here. So, there's the 3rd kid. The 3rd kid will get out of my way. There we go. The 4th kid should be about here. Oh, okay, maybe not. A bit further right. Oh, okay, there. There we go. Like, this is the one that always throws me off. So you have to do this here. And then you run down towards the school here. So time is coming up in a second. I'll give you a countdown on time if we're ready. And... time. That's literally the game. There's not too much to it. So there's 6 levels altogether, as I said. There's 4 races. You get a nice little 100% thing there as well. But yeah, as I said, very short game. A bit janky with its controls and things like that. Would definitely recommend it to people who play like Sonic R and things like that. Because like I said, that game's quite short as well, I believe, in terms of length. So this game would probably easily fit under that category as well. Although, I don't know if I could say Sonic R is jank, because I haven't really played it too much myself. It seems like a bit of a hassle, but not too bad. Like I said, the characters do get stuck on a lot of things. It's more of a fun little game. I ran this for a bit of a laugh after ESA. But yeah, if you're interested in running this, by the way, it's quite easy to get hold of. You can run it on emulator or on console, depending on which one you prefer. Emulator's fine, regardless, for this game. So if you wish to use emulator, feel free to do so. Obviously, how you get the game, I can't say anything more than that. It's just a case of when RIP legally use your actual PS2 discs. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much the run. Like I said, this was made by a company called Blast Entertainment. They've done a lot of games. I read out a few at the start of this run. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this fun little run. Just a quick question: what was the final time in the end?
12 minutes and 45 seconds.
Really?
That's what I got.
Huh.
Is that world record?
I'd have to just double check. So it was a 12 what?
12 minutes and 45 seconds.
No, but that was a pretty good PB. My previous PB was 13:16. So that was the
Okay.
PB. Yeah, I'll take that. Wow.
That's not bad, is it?
Not bad for the weird thing is, this is gonna sound terrible, but I barely practiced this game since it got announced that it was in the schedule. Like I think the last time I ran this game properly was like 6 months ago, and then literally about an hour before I was due to come on here, I was like, you know what, I'll just quickly de-rust it. And so I learned where all the location was, because like the main thing is as well, your main time save, I will just say this, your main time save, the main thing you need to remember is that first level collecting the 30 items, because everything after that is fair game. Like, you can easily, the races are pretty easy, in my opinion, especially when you get used to the handling. Same with the boat thing and stuff. But yeah, if that started and stopped at the same point it should have done, then yeah, that was a pretty good PV. I'm happy with that, actually. Well,
I think like there might be a bit of like a couple of seconds, but I can't imagine there'd be a 30-second discrepancy because I started on go and I finished on time. So
yeah, exactly. Well, it started at the right time, and I believe I said stop at the right time. So I'm pretty sure I said it's probably like a second out, but even then, still a PV. So everybody wins. Just
that's
really
only 15 seconds away from the world record as well, so it's not that bad, is it?
Funnily enough, it's Garlips as well. Just like I said, just a quick last few words because I won't take up too much time here. But yeah, that's Casper Scare School again. Feel free to go and run it. I won't say the world record's free, because I think it's a bit more optimized than what I thought, but at the end of the day, it's a fun little game. Would highly recommend picking it up. I'm not a adventure person, you know, that sort of thing. I didn't think this game would fit me, or suit me, or anything like that. But it did. So feel free to, like I said, feel free to give it a try. And the last big thing I need to kind of mention, or mention here anyway, is obviously I just want to mention a big thank you to InstaSpeedathon. I know that I originally was supposed to have 2 runs in and everything, and time constraints and things, which has changed once again as of this morning, but we'll gloss over that. But I just want to quickly say as well to InstaSpeedathon as a whole, thank you once again for allowing me to show off something wacky. Or just in general, just show off any game. Yeah, I appreciate every time that you've allowed me to run something, whether it be this game or something else. But yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I'll pass it back over to InstaSim himself. So yeah, thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for that. I think so. I've just had a comment from my moderator that there's been a bit of rubber banding, I think, in the actual stream. I think it might be something to do with settings, but I'll have to check that with the next run. So we haven't had any tech issues per se today, so I haven't had any buffering like we had yesterday, because I think things are a little bit differently today. But I think it still needs to iron out the kinks a bit, but we'll sort that out. Don't worry about that. I'll have a look at that in the next run. But yeah. But anyway, don't forget we're also doing this as a charity event for Everyone Can. If you'd like to donate, type !donate in the chat, and that'll bring up the Tiltify link for the InstaSpeedathon 2023 fundraiser, and all of the proceeds of Tiltify go to Everyone Can as well. There is an incentive for the next run, and that is the Add All Stages Tory incentive. It's on £15 raised at the moment. It needs £50 to see it. So be sure to get those donations in for as well. That's £35 away to see that. So be sure to put your donations in towards that as well. If you subscribe, donate bits, or watch adverts, then half the revenue from whatever we get from Twitch will be given to Everyone Can as well. And also half of the profits from merch sales. So if you type like merch in the chat, then the half of the profits from merch sales will also go to Everyone Can as well at the end of the event. So thank you, Viper, for the run there. We're now going to go for a short break, about half an hour, before we go on to the next run. And the next run is going to be the